Oh my gosh, what an amazing day. Hey, Brenda, I'm super excited that Brenda's going to here with me today. Uh, Rebecca has a got to got to have a half day today at work, so she had to run around and pick up kids in the bus. So it's exciting.
So all of us are dealing with littles today.
We're all dealing with littles. Brenda's, you're home with you got two little boys. I got two little
Hmm.
girls. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day.
It
This
is a
is an
good day.
interesting day, huh, Brenda? This is a really interesting day for us.
Mm.
And it worked out
Hmm.
perfect. Kind of that, of course it did. The sovereignty of our Father, that you and I get to do this together today.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
it's
It's
an
the
interesting.
ending of some things and the beginning of some new things. Can I just say that Annie Perez, you may know her. She's basically Rabbi Annie. She said the most interesting thing this morning. She said, in order for you to arrive somewhere else, you have to leave where you're at.
Yeah.
And that just struck me because that's so prophetically what is happening on the earth today. And I mean, of course, in our Torah portion, 100%, but really in all of our hearts, because, nothing's just individual. It's always about collectively all of the body.
Right.
And there are a lot of leavings and there are a lot of things that are ending right now. And it's really wise for us to maybe take a breath and think, well, Father, if this is ending, it means that something else is beginning. And
Right.
so we could maybe just take a breath and step into the transition without fear, because we know, especially in this Torah portion, do we not know how good he is and how he will see for provision for everything. He promises that he will.
Right.
So
That's
we
right.
can trust him. So yeah, I
Yeah,
just
I
want
mean,
to
we
go
have
ahead.
next week. We have the 30th, of course, but it's
Mhm.
going to be kind of a wrapping up a Gregorian year. It's not going to be this. It's going to be it'll be a little shorter next week because a lot of us are traveling and doing different things for the next week. Many of you are in the middle of Hanukkah right now with us. We have been doing
Yeah.
some fun stuff. Brenda was home with me, and we were doing fun things for Hanukkah, weren't we?
That was so great. What a wonderful, incredible opportunity to enjoy Hanukkah with the communities.
It was so fun. And for those of you
Mhm.
who, I'll just quick, it's kind of a thing, but we joined along with Scholar Ministries with Rebecca and Ron Smith, and they do a Hanukkah ministry every single year. And so what they do is we have every single night families sign up to be get deliveries, right? So we do these deliveries, and last night the delivery in the sack was these catapults, homemade, like little, you would think like kids would be, they're so used to getting these fancy toys and electronic things. But I'm going to tell you, I know with my grandkids, I put them on the list to get stuff. They've had the most fun. And last night we ran around chasing each other with these catapults and marshmallows, just like, and cheese puffs, like the fireball ones. And we're acting like they're fireballs and hitting each other. And the dogs were loving it because they were eating up all the spoils. And we just had so much fun. But what we do every night is we deliver. She has us delivering. There's over 180 people receiving these little bags. What, like 56 families, Brenda?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
56 families.
Yeah, we did 8, huh? We did 8
Yeah.
houses. And so we're
Yeah.
doing, and we still have till the end of Hanukkah, and we stop and you leave the package, and you have to carry a flashlight, and the children are taught they're supposed to look for the light every night. They're supposed to look for the light every night. And the goal is they're trying to catch us. Brenda, you got Nerf balled, huh?
I got Nerf balled. I was sneaking up with the flashlight on, sneaking up around the truck, going up. I was going to go up the side and then try to just sneak to the house. And I turned around the corner from the truck, and these two little men, probably 5 and 7, start pummeling me with Nerf bullets from their Nerf guns. It
Yeah.
was hysterical. And the mom sitting there videotaping the whole thing. And I mean, literally, I was not expecting that. And I screeched, when I came around the corner, and then they just were going, and then they start chasing me with them. It was so fun. And then they said, come back, come back. We made you cookies.
Yeah, they get points if they leave the driver's treats. They get points if they catch you. They get points if they get you with like marshmallows or
Yeah.
Nerf gun.
And they
They,
get points if it's videoed.
if it's video, they get more
Yeah.
points, and they send it to Rebecca. So we have so much fun have had so much fun every
So
single night. So, so fun. So we're talking to Rebecca, trying to get her to do it so that we could put it out for other people if you're interested in your community to do something like that. It was
Oh,
just a
it's so
blast.
wonderful.
We're going to all
So
meet up, all
wonderful.
the drivers, on the 26th, and when we're done, just to share
Mhm.
stories and just celebrate together. It's going to be fun. Brenda, we kind of touched on this as the end of a thing. 8 years ago, we went live. It was in October. 8 years ago would be October. We started a Torah cycle. You came in we were Zoomers before it was cool.
Right.
You were in
Exactly.
Texas and I was in San Diego, and we had ladies around a kitchen table, and we had all of you, had them all come in, and Brenda would join us in the Zoom, and we would just have the portion every week, and then opened it by Zoom. Brenda did it by herself for a while with Zoom while I was working. She took that for a season, and then we all came back together, and we've been doing this. So total time, we're at 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not leaving Zoom. So those of you who are coming in
Mm-mm.
Zoom, that we have moved our community platform from Facebook. We've moved it over to Band. I've put the link already in the comments of this live right now, but we can put it in several times through the next week. We're going to be blasting you with how to get back over there. Already over 300 of you have gone over to Band. So on what it'll look like is on Fridays we'll have live on Zoom like we always have. This is not going to change. We have, right now we have several ladies already in here with us, and we usually have 30 or so ladies who join us live around this kitchen table. And then afterwards we have an after party, and we usually chat and get to know each other a little better. And then we have, we'll be going live stream to Band, our new community. But you can also always watch us or listen to us on podcast. If you're a podcaster, you can go in and watch the replays. Anybody can go in and watch the replays. All you have to do, and this is really that simple, is go to therootedcafe.com, go up there and click that little tab that says the portion. And when you go in there, the first thing it says is click here about the podcast to learn about, you click there and it'll tell you exactly how to listen to it if you're a podcaster, how to get it, find us on Apple, how to find us on Spotify, how to find us on Google podcasts, all the places. There's that. You can keep scrolling down. It'll say how to watch the videos. So it'll tell you how to do that. Also, if you're on there, you'll get to listen. Brenda, this week, Karen Bosch is from South Africa, is reading this portion. You get to listen to, oh my gosh, it's the best.
Yes, it's I love hearing the different women reading the Torah. I don't know. There's something that ignites in your spirit when you're hearing your comrades reading the Torah portion across the world, Oh, yeah. I'm going to cry. Yeah. This is what we get to do. And it's so, and Charlie, it started out with just a few of us, and we really, we'd never done anything like that before. I mean, not that we hadn't had Bible studies. Between you and I, we probably have 100 years of Bible studies, but well, not quite, but maybe it feels like it. But doing the Torah portion, that was the first time that you and I did that together with that focus. And the women that we had were not women that even really knew what that was. No. And it was so interesting and so beautiful how the Holy One put it all together. And then, you know what? Sometimes, guys, you just need to say yes. Charlie asks me a lot of things, and when she asks me, I've learned to usually just say yes. just say yes, because
oh my God, such a
the Holy One will step in and cover your back, or not. And you see up my nose boogers, so whatever. Yeah.
No, we don't see up your nose boogers. She has a beautiful nose.
Oh,
we have. I was going to say something more like, or we're selling lipstick together, or
oh my goodness,
or
yes,
something. I mean, whenever
yes.
she says yes, you never know what could be asking her too. It could be super fun. So funny.
We did sell lipstick together for a long time.
Yeah. She and I.
That was our training.
It was definitely training ground. So for such a time as this, I did want to just share my screen for all of you who are watching, especially those of you who are watching on Facebook right now. And I just wanted to give you just kind of a quick little look. This is what the band looks like when you join us on band. This is what your feed looks like. Very similar to your Facebook feed. As you can see, we have a very active community. We're all chatting in there. You're able to chat with one another. You can see there's live chats. People are chatting all around. We have a calendar, so you can just go right in and say, oh, I want to be on the portion. You click the portion, you can click the link and come right into us. It's in your calendar. It's really nice if you want to post. You just go in there and big old button says post. You can invite your friends. This is open to all your friends. Yeah, so you can see it's
Yeah,
a
the
really fun
calendar, Charlie, the calendar makes it so easy. You just click, if you want to show them where the calendar is, you just click on the calendar and it gives you everything that the dates and times and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. And we
It's
can see
super
like
easy.
exactly like we have a prayer call, that you can jump in on a prayer Zoom with Deborah Flanagan. It's really fun. And then of course our weeks, and then the Thursday nights you can say, oh look, it's Thursday night, because you guys know we have one week, the third week, it's always on Thursday night with Jen and Robin. So I just wanted to share that with you, because I think that sometimes it's kind of nice to see like not we don't know, so it's a little scary.
Yeah.
And we're a little, I mean, it's the reason we're sad is we can serve you. We're sad because we're so used to being in this platform. However, we can serve you so much better over here, and for a lot of reasons. And both of us are still on Facebook. It's not like we hate it or anything. We can just serve you so much better at this capacity. So we're excited as you move over. This week, Brenda, is really fun that we are in Miketz. We're in Genesis 41:1 through 44:17. Isaiah 66:1 through 24 is our Haftarah, or the prophets. And the section of we're using, we use First Fruits of Zion. We use their New Testament portion, or the Brit Hadashah. And we're using Luke 24:30 through 48. If you guys use a different one, post it in there. We love to see what you're reading. As we tie these all together. And many of you are celebrating the feast of, it's not a biblical feast. But it is a festival of lights. And it's been fun teaching my granddaughters about it. It really has been. It's been fun talking with them about it, having lighting candles, talking about believing in miracles and believing in things. And I think that ties into where we're at right now, is because Brenda, I was really realizing when I was reading this portion is that we have to, the whole scripture verse about being ready in and out of season took on a whole new thing to me this week.
Tell me about that.
Joseph had to be practicing his gift down in the dungeon. He had to be down there practicing it. He could have given up because his gift got him in a pit, because he was using it immaturely. He was practicing it, but it got him in a pit. It got him in a dungeon. It didn't, and then his ability to, he was trying to be excellent, and that excellence ended up, and still, even though he was doing all the right things, then it still got him in another pit. But he continued to practice that gift, even in the pits, even when he was in the middle of that, he continued to practice that gift. And he was ready when the Pharaoh called him. All he needed was some new clothes and a shave. That's all he needed. Because there's many of us who, I mean, I might step on some toes on this, but a lot of us, maybe you're called to worship. Maybe you're a music minister. Maybe that God has put a song in your heart, and he's saying, if I called you tomorrow, if someone called you and said, I need you to jump in and substitute and play the piano, I need you to play the keyboard, I need you to play a guitar, I need you to sing, I need you to do this, could you? Or have we get so caught up in the pit that we haven't practiced the gifts and the talents he's given us? Are we good stewards of those? Are we practicing them even in the middle of the prison cell, even in the middle of the yuck?
That's it.
Or are we just licking our wounds and just surviving until we get out? And when I get out, then I'm gonna, here we go. When I get out, I might write the book. When this is over, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sing the song. When this is this, I'm going to start the ministry, do whatever your gifts are. What has he called you to? And are you practicing it in the middle? I'm just a mom right now. I'm just doing this right now. But in the middle of where you're at right now, are you still practicing that gifts? If it's music, I'm going to stay in that right now. Or if you're a writer, are you writing with your kids? Are you practicing songs with your kids? Are you still practicing? Is your voice strong? All I'm just saying is when he's ready, you're out of season. we always think, oh, I'm ready in and out of season. What about the out of season? Are you ready out of season? And that's what I saw this week with Joseph is he was ready out of season.
Exactly. Exactly. One thing you don't hear in the Torah portion, pardon me. One thing you don't hear with Joseph in the Torah portion, which is I think is very significant. I love how the Torah portions don't say some things for a reason.
Mm,
And one of the things they do not say about Joseph was that he was griping and complaining.
yeah.
And that's very significant. It's very significant because when it's talking about the other brothers, there are things that are said about how they behave and what their attitude is. But with Joseph, it's basically exactly what you're saying. He was on mission. Who's that rabbi that says it, the chutzpah, he had from the lineage of his father, from his lineage of Yitzhak, from the lineage of Abraham, he had that, I'm going to do it no matter what.
Yeah.
He had that within him, and it cost him dearly. It cost him everything, and he didn't give up.
His
He
identity.
kept going. Exactly. Everything. And the thing is that the new identity that he got, do you honestly think that that was his goal in life? Was to be an Egyptian, a ruler?
That does not look anything like the promise. He has Egyptian children, an Egyptian wife, and he's walking like an Egyptian. He's walking like an Egyptian.
He's dressed like an Egyptian. He's speaking like an Egyptian. He's an Egyptian for all, purposes and plans. And yet in the midst of all of that, so sisters, you got to hear what Charlie just said. In the midst of it looking like you are living in Egypt and you are ruling in Egypt, and there's things happening around you that look Egyptian, in the midst of all of that, your light needs to be shining, and this needs to be preparation. The pit is preparation. Yeah. The pit is practice time. The pit is purposeful. Let's just do all the P's.
All the P's. And I talked about this on Wednesday quite a bit, is about that. Brenda, I don't think I would have said yes. If I were Joseph and I was in the prison and I was called up and I might have interpreted the dream and I'm like, here's what you need to do. Cause let me get bossy. Let me tell you where all the systems got to happen. I'm going to put you all in place. And he's like, okay, well then I want you to take it over. I would be like, oh no, that's way too pagan. I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's
no,
not
sorry.
my calling.
I'll need to go
that's
back
not my calling.
Prison. It's not my calling. I'm not called to that.
I'm waiting
in prison.
I'm waiting in prison for God to rescue me.
Exactly. I'm waiting for him to rescue me and put me back with my family. And I'm not going to put on Egyptian clothes, and I'm not going to have an Egyptian name, and I'm not going to have Egyptian children, and I'm not going to have an Egyptian spouse. So
I'm not going to save the world. Oh, by the way.
But thank you. Thanks for thinking of me.
Thanks anyway. Yeah, I'm waiting for something.
I'm going to go back to my prison cell and I'll wait to be rescued. No. That would be me. I'm just being, and I mean,
oh yeah,
I really sat in that all week long.
Me.
I would have not, I know me, and I would not have said yes. I would have said, no, I can't. No, this is not my calling, because my grandfather, was given a promise, and this is not how we work it. This is not Hebrew, because I was a man of the tents. So I'm studied, I'm learned, I know the ways, I know all the things. This is not all the things or all the ways.
My dad's put hope in me. My father trained me up and put hope within me that I would fulfill his destiny and his father's destiny and his father's debt. There's a plan here, and being in Egypt isn't part of it.
Exactly. And how many things have I said no to out of my righteous indignation?
Oh, geez.
Have I said no to? And he was trying to birth something, a nation. In this case, with Joseph, it was a nation. It was huge, right? Yeah. A nation had to come there. And it was a mixed multitude. It wasn't just Hebrews. It's a mixed multitude. He's pulling people together. And wow, it was that whole thing is interesting too. But anyways, he pulls these people together, and how many things have I said no to? And he wanted to birth something. I mean, he did it. God's God. He's going to do it anyway, with or without me. But I probably would have said no, and he would have had to use someone else to birth that nation.
Yeah. Well, can I just tell you that I have said no a lot of times. I've said no. And the Father is he respects our choices. And then, you know, then it takes longer to get back into the habit of saying yes. Yeah. So I really relate to this.
Yeah.
I really do. Really, not that please understand, I'm not comparing myself to the greatness of Joseph. Oh, please.
Not even tiny bit. But I mean, he's not a respecter of person. So
No,
what
he's
he has
not.
maybe called us to may not look like delivering a nation or birthing a nation, but whatever he's
Right.
birthing out of each one of us is just as important. It's just as
Yeah.
important, even if it's in your home, that it's your job, is that he's called you to live in a home at this season right now is
Yeah.
very difficult for people. And there's
Yeah.
many of you who are watching or listening and you're struggling because your house feels divided.
Yep.
And things are happening right now. And can I
Yeah.
just say, not to let it be, bring
Don't let it
unity,
be.
bring
Be the
unity and
unity.
be the
Be the
unity.
unity.
And it might look like an ugly sweater.
Hey,
Fill in the blank. It might look
fill in the
like a
blank.
crazy hat with a ball on the end. It might look like something, it might look Egyptian. And can you just pray? I'm not telling you to run and jump into that. I'm just saying, pray about it
Exactly.
and know that you know what is he saying
Right.
to do, because a lot of
Right.
times we're grabbing onto our righteous indignation and we're missing the Egyptian, we're missing the opportunity for something to be birthed through us because we're saying no to something that
Yeah.
looks so Egyptian to us.
Yeah.
That's just me. That's where I'm at this week, is he showed me where to, like you said, things flashed before me of the things that I said no to. And had I said yes, he was trying to use me in something. Some of it might have looked like, I'll give you an example. One time we were sitting in a bar. It was a not a bar, it was like a microbrewery. And we had a restaurant and we were picking beers for the restaurant. And I was sitting there and I'm just like, well, at this time, I'm not in anything. I'm just kind of mad about everything, the way that God allowed things to happen. So am I mad at God? Probably a little. But I was
Oh,
just
wait,
mad at
that's like in the
church.
Torah portion today.
Exactly. I'm mad about what's
God did
happening.
this to me.
God did this to me. That's exactly how I was like, this is what's going on. So when that happened, there was a minister sitting next to my husband who, and I didn't know that, but he's talking to my husband, and my husband wasn't following the Lord at all. And he starts sharing with him, and I'm listening to, and I'm like, oh, give me a break. Now I'm coming from super religious background, not even a drinker. I grew up where drinking was totally a sin. You only snuck a margarita on the women's retreats when you're out of town. And you were sitting at this thing, and my husband, they're tasting this beer, and I'm sitting there and he's trying to minister to him, and I hear him start talking to him, and I hear tears coming down see him coming down his eyes, because he says he's literally prophetically speaking into my husband. And then he's like, oh, I'm one of the pastors at the church behind this. It was like warehouses, and like a warehouse kind of church. And I was sitting there, if he was stepping in as Joseph, it looked really Egyptian, but he was being used to bless my husband in that situation. And we just got to be really careful, because I was super judgy on this guy. And here he was in a Joseph moment saying yes. And I am being judgy going. So we have to be careful, not only that we're stepping into our Joseph moments, but that we don't judge others, and we don't know what he's called us to. And I talked about this on Wednesday. I really beat everyone up. Sorry, but was beating myself up. So I'm glad you all were part of it. But I was thinking about all the people that I've Lashon Harad, that are the televangelist, or the whatever, the books they're writing, or the people, and I can fill in all the names that I have spoken not very nicely. I rolled my eyes like, oh, they're a motivational speaker, but I do not know what kind of Joseph attire he's got on them, and who he's blessing and what he's doing. I need to shut my pay hole.
That's why the word says for us to be so careful how we judge others. This is the scripture that the Lord spoke to me last night, because I've been in a situation. He reminded me about the log. I'm like, geez, because I was focused on the splinter in someone else's eye, and I was having to look around the log in my own eye. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is the truth. Bam. I just, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I relate to what you're saying, Charlie. I thank you so much for just,
It's just
bringing
practical.
that
I mean, can
out.
we
It's
get
just
raw?
practical. Don't we need to be honoring in our mouth. We need to watch our mouth. What are we teaching the people around us when we're slamming righteously indignant, when we're slamming people? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of baloney. That's
Yeah.
not
And we
righteous
don't hear
indignant.
him saying that. We don't even when
No,
he was serving, when he was in Potiphar's house, he was serving with
no.
excellence. He was being
Yes, he
all that
was.
he was doing everything, all he could do,
Yep.
just being excellent. So can you just be excellent where you're at?
Just be
And I'm going to
excellent in
speak
your
to your
pit.
home, in your home
Yeah.
right now, this week,
Yes.
today, this weekend.
Hallelujah.
Can you just stop banging everyone over the head with everything?
Yeah.
Can we just let him work through you
Yeah.
in gentleness and the
Yes.
goodness of him? Now there are times when he may call you to jump up and be a warrior and put a put a stake
Put
in
a
someone's
sword to
head.
something.
Yeah, put a sword to something. He may call you to do some crazy things, but be ready for that.
Yeah.
And again, being ready for those of you who have gifts, I want to call those gifts forward. I want to call them out. I want to call my musicians out, my writers out. I want to call the administrators out, the prophets out, the teachers out. I want to call you out.
Yeah.
Because wherever you're at right now, quit waiting for when things get better.
Yeah.
You're going to do it right now, out of season. If you're out of season, I want you practicing that gift so you're ready when when the coach calls you up off the bench, you've been practicing in the bullpen and you can jump right in and ready to go.
That's right.
I
That's
mean, we
it.
can be women and
Exactly.
understand that analogy, right? Can you
Absolutely.
imagine getting called off the bench and you're like, you're a pitcher and he's like, hey, we need you up on the lineup, and you're like, oh, I haven't been practicing, my arm's kind of sore, and you just
Oh
missed your
yeah.
opportunity.
Give me 6 weeks and let me get into shape. No,
Yeah.
you be in
Yeah.
shape right now.
Now out of season.
Right.
So I believe that there's been a clarion call for a few years now, especially with the things that have been happening globally, with the pandemics, that he's calling us to be prepared. And a lot of us have thought it just meant saving rice and beans, but he's calling everybody to get prepared in your gifts, get prepared in what he's calling you to do out of season, because he's about to call some people up and you need to be ready. Maybe
Yep.
it's been a long time. You're a little girl and he put a calling on your life and you knew, or maybe you don't know what it is. Then this is the time to start pushing in. Father, what is it? What do I need? What are you good at? What could you do all day long and never have any and not get paid for it? What could you talk about all day long and just someone say, hey, tell me about this, and you could just talk all, is it cooking? Is it hospitality? What is it that you're so good at that's that gift that comes through you? Let's operate in those. Let's be ready. Let's get ready. We're talking about having our lamps ready. When the groom comes for us, is your oil, are your wicks trimmed?
That's right, Cindy.
Trimming your wicks. Do you have oil in your lamps? Or are you just waiting till he's going to, oh, I think I see him now. Let's go run, get everything ready. Let me practice my singing. Let me get my books written. Let me get my stuff done. Oh, he's coming. He's coming. It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah. And Joseph is such a great example to us of this. One of the things that I noticed in this Torah portion, I'm sure all of you ladies, have noticed this too, but there are so many amazing parallels. So many things, like the verbiage is exactly the same as other verbiage in scriptures that just kind of takes us all the way through from Genesis through Revelation. Excuse me, it's just like it winds its way around. There's parallels to Yeshua.
Yeah.
There's parallels to Abraham. There's parallels to Jacob. There's parallels to Isaac even. The brothers, the parallels between the brothers and the disciples even.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing to me.
There's parallels between what the Pharaoh and the father.
Yes.
Right? Between the two fathers. One gave a coat, one lost a coat, one gave new clothes. There's a parallel between, even we look in this tribe of Benjamin and Judah. We see that Judah says, I will be responsible for Benjamin. And we see then Benjamin and Judah going into history, then becoming Judah, becoming Jews.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
the blending, the almost like an eternal covering,
yeah,
of one another, of the big brothers stepping up and saying, not on my watch.
Yeah.
even after all of the things,
Yeah,
So the
even.
pit is our preparation.
Right.
Judah's pit was all of the years that Joseph was gone. He had to grieve that,
Well,
and it
Brenda, I
affected him.
yes, and I was thinking about this. So hang on for our little tangent here because we're
Sure.
verbally processing. So what I was
Go.
thinking about this is Judah was willing to give his life for Benjamin. The parallel, then we have Yeshua, the tribe from the tribe of Judah,
Exactly.
is willing to give his life and did.
Right. For the one who, yes. And maybe not, I mean, Benjamin was coddled, from what we understand. I mean, I don't know, we weren't there, but he was coddled. He was the favorite.
Being groomed again in the tents?
He was being groomed, but the others were out and he wasn't. He stayed with the dad, and the dad sent all the others out to go to Egypt in the dangerous zone.
Yeah.
Right. But he kept Benjamin at home.
Yeah.
And so Judah, the big brother who stepped up, he was willing to lay his life down for the one who wasn't even involved in all of the things that were happening. And that is exactly what Yeshua did.
For the weakest, even.
He paid the price before we even knew we needed the price paid.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah, no, really.
In our sin, he paid the price. Before we repented, he paid the price.
Yeah.
When we unrepent, he's paid the price.
Yes. Hallelujah. I wrote, we're on this. I wrote down like some famous Benjamites that we don't know about. Like,
oh yeah,
Saul was a Benjamite.
Saul was a Benjamite.
Paul and Jeremiah were Benjamites.
John
the Revelator, he was John's revelation. Says that the Benjamites, the tribe of Benjamin, will be part of that salvation, right?
Yeah.
In Genesis 49, his words from Jacob, he says that Jacob will have us. I'm gonna work that. Where did I put that is? And it's like we go back to Genesis 49. He's talking. I'm going to look that back up because then we go back to Revelation 7:8, and it's the 12,000 from Benjamin. They will receive a special place, and they will avoid judgment, which is cool. Deborah was a prophetess, and she was fierce. She was a Benjamite. Queen Esther was a Benjamite.
Isn't that so cool?
Yeah. It's the smallest tribe, but it's militarily was fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, right? And then this was really interesting to me, Brenda. I looked this up, and somewhere I read it was referred to as the feet of Christ.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're all part of the body, but it was the feet.
Yeah.
The Benjamites were referred to as the feet. I don't know if that's the
I
thing. Okay.
love that. That's something that we could just like ponder for a while. There's a lot. Hey, real quick before you move on.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Saul being a Benjamite.
Yeah.
We're seeing what happens when you refuse to walk in the calling of your life. Saul was a king.
Yeah.
He was accomplished. He was a ruler. He was a king.
Yeah.
He was walking in that, but he wasn't walking with the Holy One. He was grabbing hold of other things, outside things, and walking, not walking to the true calling, the prophetic calling as a man of God who was called to rule the nation of Israel. He wasn't doing that. And so we see what happens when somebody is not walking in their.
And who saves his life? Who saves his life? Who saves Saul's life?
David. And
who's from what tribe?
David? Judah, the big brother. Yeah.
Comes in and still saves him.
That's right. That's why
it's really funny because it's an opposite. It's like it's the contronym, right? The little boy.
Yeah.
Even with Goliath, we see the Judah coming in to save Benjamin.
Yeah.
And willing to give his life.
Yep.
Just cool.
It is super cool.
So cool. So just little stuff. This is new for me this year. And I was digging into stuff. And the other thing I was thinking was, why did they choose Simeon to stay?
Mm-hmm.
Why was Simeon? Why did he grab Simeon and choose him? And so I went in and I was looking up like, okay, what is, because it hit me. So I'm like, okay, Simeon was Leah's son.
Mm-hmm.
So why did he choose Simeon? And he wasn't specifically, I mean, I went back, please correct me. I went back and looked. It wasn't like he was the exact one who threw him in the pit. He was the one who did all the stuff. It wasn't saying he specifically, we know Levi was there doing things. Him and Simeon were we know that what their things were. We don't know. We weren't there, but I'm just saying, I was curious. So why did he pick him? That was my why this week. Why did he pick him? And so I looked up, and I'm just throwing it out for you guys. And Leah's son, and she named him because the Lord heard I was hated. And the root of his name is actually Shema.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
exactly.
What? So they don't know who he is, and he picks the son whose name means because the Lord knew I was hated. So I'm wondering, are these little,
it's the hearing, because the Lord heard.
Was he living hints to them? Little hints like, I'm going to take Simeon because God heard I was hated and pulled me out of the pit. You guys hated me. I don't know. That was just my little tangent on him. I was like, okay, why did he pick Simeon? You guys jump into that. Would be fun for you to do some stuff. Of course, I wrote out all the letters of his name, and I'm spending some time in that this week, but
yeah, and the neat thing about that is that the opportunity was given to Simeon. The opportunity was given to him to become who he is, who he was created to be, to hear, to listen, to be in a place of almost at encampment, but basically imprisoned. He was being held captive during this time, and he was being given the opportunity in the pit. Remember, in that pit that he was in, given the opportunity to hear, because that is who he is. He's one who hears. The word Shema is in his name. When you say his name, you're crying out, not just what for Leah, but for all. So, I mean, what pit are you in that you are being raised up right now to be able to walk in the actual calling of God on your life? It's okay for you to be in a pit. Doesn't mean you're bad. It means that you're in preparation. Remember the P words. Pits are preparation. Pits are purposeful preparation. Progress.
And I mean, and we have to, when we're in that, it's a time when we need to get quiet and hear him.
Yeah. Yes.
And
because
not just
that's what
not
it
listen. We know that Shema, where Shema is not listening. You always give the best. I think the best analogy is the one with your son. You want to share again? It's worth repeating 100 times.
Yes, Shema. It's not just listening with your ears. It's listening with your ears, but it is allowing an understanding of what's being said to be walked out in your life.
Right.
It's not just hearing. When you Shema something, it is not hearing. That's a piece of it. It's a lot of times translated as obey in scripture, and that's not even a good translation. It's a piece of the translation, because once you hear it, you are saying whatever has been said to you, you are going to let that be absorbed into your life, and you are going to walk it out. And it isn't shemaing until you are in motion of walking it out. It's not shemaing when you hear it.
Yes,
it's shemaing when you move forward in it. That's shemaing. So Shimon, Shimeon, what is it? I don't even remember how to spell his name in Hebrew. What
Simone is in Shimon is Shin Shim Mem Ayin Nun Sofit.
Yes.
Yeah. The nun Sofit. Yeah.
And when you have two letters that are the same letters and they're next to each other, it means that there is a conflict that has to there will always be a conflict that will be occurring, and that conflict is supposed to take you to the last, like in this, it's the nun, it's life. It is the air. It is fulfilling your destiny. And these two nuns that are together, one's a regular and one's a Sophite. And the Sofit is taking you to Messiah, who is the ultimate heir. So whenever you see in Hebrew 2 letters that are the same, that are next to each other, you know that that is means that whatever is going to be happening is going to be a conflict. It can go either way, and it will go either way.
Right.
It's not negative, but there will always be a, conflict there. So it's
And
good.
you said about the analogy that I love that you give about shemaing is about your son asking him.
Yeah, about the glass of water.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you ask your son, can I have a glass of water? And your son says, sure. They heard you, right? He heard me. He goes in the kitchen and gets a glass of water. But if he walks out the front door and leaves the water in the kitchen, yes, he heard me with his ears, but he didn't shema me. The shemaing is when he hands me the glass of water and puts it into my hand. That is shemaing. That's the difference. It's not just obedience. It's that he went and did it. He heard me, understood me, and then he acted on that.
Mm-hmm.
And when that water gets into my hand, that is when the Shema is complete.
Amen.
Not this, guys, not this with
Yes.
your ears.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's not Shemaing. And the Holy One has called us to Shema. Shema. He's calling his people to Shema. And he's saying, don't just listen to the words. Let it stir up in your heart and walk it out. And it's okay to do it the way that you can do it right now.
Yeah.
If he would have spilled 89% or 92% or 98% of that water, when he handed me that glass of water and it was all spilled all over the place, and there was a drop in it, oh my gosh, that's like, wow, look what you did. That's wonderful. Not criticized, but wonderful. He shemad, right? That's what we need to be doing, ladies. And we can do it. That's the thing.
We can do it.
We can do it. He's created us so that we can.
Right. I put in the notes, and if you're on Facebook, someone write it in the notes there. You said it's not shemaing unless it's in motion. I think that's just really good. It's just not shemaing unless it's in motion. And when we're in those pits, and a lot of times we think, when we're in those pits, and a lot of us maybe you're in it's a holding pattern. You don't think it's a pit, but two things that came to my mind. First thing was, remind me about the decorating, but the first thing was that we, it reminded me when we were at the women's conference, just before women's conference we went to in November, something the Lord spoke to my heart, and I thought it was for the person who was in charge of it. But later he was like, no, that was for you too. It was like a global thing he was saying. So I want to share it here. Is what he said was, the reward is not in the numbers. The reward is in the obedience. So the reward is in the shemaing. Some of you are again, we'll go back to, well, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a grandma, or I'm just a receptionist, or I'm just a this. I'm not operating in where I'm supposed to be. But he said the reward is in your obedience, getting ready and getting prepared out of season. The reward is in your obedience, not in the numbers, in the shemaing.
In the shemaing.
That's where the obedience is at. And
that's it.
Yes. And I believe that a lot of us will be in the pit, and we might be in our pits, and we start decorating. We don't get prepared for when the rope gets thrown down to us to get out of the pit, that we're strong enough to climb the rope to get out. Instead, we start decorating and making it comfortable down in the pit, instead of doing push-ups and jumping jacks and getting strong so we can get out of the pit when it's time. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. When the opportunity presents itself, are we strong enough to get out? Are we strong enough to go? Because if all we're doing is sitting back and waiting for something to happen, we will not be prepared. When they throw the rope down to you, are you going to have enough strength to be able to climb that rope and get out of the pit?
Yeah. Are you studied up? Are you studied up so you're ready when they call you to teach that class, that you're ready to do it?
That's right.
Wherever.
Do you have a
keep circling around, because I feel like we're shaking you up today, because it's not okay. You could come and sit and be like, oh, I'm just listening to Brenda and Charlie teach again this week. But if you're not shemaing, then this is for nothing. faith without works is dead, right?
Yeah.
You do have to shema. You do have to walk it out. It's not an emotion. You're not shemaing. So are you in motion? And the motion might be
Yeah.
doing laps around your pit to keep strong.
Exactly.
That's what it might look
Exactly.
like. And it might look like you
Yep.
saying, Father, I feel like right now I'm in limbo. Your pit may be limbo. That would be that's my pit. When I'm in limbo, gray,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
speak gray. I don't like gray. I
Mhm.
want yes, no, black, white. Where am I at? Limbo is my hell. And he had to teach me that that is not true.
Right.
My preparation time and to embrace it and just reach to him and ask for the quiet voice to walk me through. What do I need to do? How do I prepare right now?
Mhm. I need to challenge somebody right now. There's somebody right now that is saying, yeah, well, I don't teach. So what I want you to do is I want you to teach whoever, whatever, if it's to the coat closet, teach. Start reading your word and start allowing it to come out as a teaching. When you read the word and it stirs up within you, start saying it out loud. Preach to your coats if you have to. Preach to your kids, preach to your dog, preach to your cat. Start doing it. Start preaching, start teaching, start prophetically proclaiming it. Use your voice, use your energy, use who you are, where you are right here, right now, and begin being a shamar, shemaing, not just hearing with your ears, but walking it out. When this excites you, when you're reading the word and all of a sudden you get so excited, proclaim it. Even if you don't have an audience, stand in front of the mirror and proclaim it to yourself. Start
Yes.
preaching to yourself. Start
Go live
teaching
on
to
Facebook.
yourself.
Go live on Facebook. Type
Yes.
up a thing. I love seeing some of you. I know I love Jen Doobie when she'll just be like putting something just powerful on. I see your post will be on there, and or other people. I've seen some of your posts are on there. They're just powerful. Ruth
Yes.
Camargo, I know with working with kids and the stuff they do Torah for children and the things that they're doing, they're posting stuff. I love seeing it because you're operating in your gift right now. A lot of us use the pandemic as an excuse to not operate in our gift anymore. Because my mom used to always say, can't, never, could do nothing.
That's cute. Sorry.
Done. Right?
That
I
says it
can't.
all.
We're not allowed to say can't in our house. It's a bad word. If we say but by accident, our granddaughters will be like, ooh, she said a bad word. Because you can.
Yeah.
You can. And maybe, do you remember when you were a little girl and you used to line up your dolls and stuff and you used to teach to them? I mean, when you were saying that, Brenda, I was having that little flashes of as a
Yeah.
kid lining my dolls up and like
Yeah.
teaching and pretending like I was
Yeah.
teaching like a teacher, right?
Yes.
Sometimes you just do that.
Yep. My little 3-year-old grandson, he is so precious, Everett. He lines things up on the table and like he'll go and get all the juice boxes. So it'll be like 24 juice boxes and he lines them all up. And then he walks up and down the line like he's a general in the army. And he looks at each one of them. And if they're just a little bit tweaked, then he fixes them. And then he just keeps walking down the line and he keeps going back and he keeps checking to make sure that they're all in line. He is practicing for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
He is practicing for his future. And I keep reminding my daughter of that, and it really blessed her. I said, this is him practicing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We need to practice. It's okay. Preach to the mirror. Sister, you need to hear it.
Don't be afraid to fail. And there was the lady, what's her name? Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of good. Then you can see her face. When you there was a lady who developed, I forgot her name. She is the inventor of Spanx, a
Ooh.
shapewear
Oh,
Spanx. That lady. And I was listening to her on a podcast, and she was
thank you.
talking about every Friday they got together. I don't know. She must be Jewish. I don't know. But every Friday they had their dinner together. And she said that what the dad asked the kids around the table is, what did you fail at this week? And what I was thinking of, Brenda, is a lot of times we're not going to practice because we're going to fail and people are going to laugh at us.
Yeah.
Well, would you rather be laughed at or not be ready?
Yeah.
What are you more afraid of?
Yeah.
People or, I mean, which giant are you afraid of? Like, what are you comparing? Anyway. So She says they sit at the table and they were encouraged to try or do something so that when they came to the table on Friday, they had to share what they failed at. So it'd be like, oh, I
I
tried
love
out for the
that.
school
Yeah.
play and I didn't get the part. And they're like, yes,
Yay.
great job. Woo.
Yay.
I went for a class president and didn't get it. Yes, all right. And the
Woohoo.
competition was trying stuff and failing so that failure was not a negative thing. Failure is progression. People will say, oh, we fail forward. Well, you do, but failure is part of the progress. We can't associate every failure as a pit to us. It's part of that process. We cannot let the fear of failure
Yeah.
hold us back.
Yep.
We can't. We
Yeah.
have a big calling. Ladies,
Huge.
sister, look at me. You are called. You are chosen. He has put a fire inside of you. You have a responsibility. A lot of you are, if those of you are here in the United States, you're in the United States, that you have an ability to do things that other women in other countries cannot do. We have to be accountable for that.
Yes, we
On top
do.
of the fact that we stand on some pretty big shoulders of women who have fought for us to be in this position, just to be able to read.
Yeah.
Just to be able to read, let alone have a checking account and drive and own a house without our husband saying it's okay. There's a lot of things that we have the ability to do things, and we're going to let fear shrink us back because someone might laugh at us. Sister, I want to
Mhm.
challenge you to step out and be okay to fail. Be
Amen.
okay in your preparation and make fun of yourself. Be like, hey, I'm preparing. So everybody laugh right now, but God told me this and it may not make sense to you. It's
Yeah.
okay because you'll get better and you'll get better, and your practice
Yeah.
doesn't make you perfect. It makes progression.
Yes. We don't want perfect. We want progression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple things. We lost one of our members last night,
Yes.
our precious Evelyn Skinner, and she went to be with the Holy One last night at 10:30. And she was one of those pioneer women who went before us and paved the pathway.
Amen. Yeah.
She never saw her life in a limited way. She was a teacher, and then she was a nurse, and then she was a teaching nurse, and her husband was in the war, so she went and got her pilot's license so that when he got home they could fly together. And they would take trips, and she'd fly and he'd fly. And I mean, she was an amazing woman. And ladies, some of the guards are changing right now, and we need to step up, because we need to be the ones who are creating a pathway for those who will be following us, for the generations to come. That is how we are created. When you learn something, teach it. As soon as you learn it, teach it. You don't have to be qualified. You don't have to be ordained. You don't have to be, teach it. If you learn it and the Holy Spirit puts it inside of you, teach it. Even if it's just one tiny little thing, and allow yourself to do that and fail forward if you make a mistake. If you're quoting the scripture and you quote the wrong scripture, whatever. Okay. Just do it. Just do it. And in the Hebrew alphabet, you guys, if you ever want to take a fun course that's not about learning Hebrew, but it's about learning about the Hebrew letters, the letter bet is a home. And in that home is where we learn to fail forward. That's God's design. And he made it within the letters of the Hebrew alphabet to teach us how to receive and how to hear him and how to go out and fail again and fail again and fail again until we're ready to jump out and go after what is ahead.
Yeah.
And that's the letter in the letter bet. That's the home. That's what you do. You fail forward. It's a safe place. There's a safety net there.
And the course she's talking about that she brought up is actually the course that she put together called the Discovering the Energy of the Letters. Those of you that are in the Rooted Cafe, that. Get in your library. It's quick little go through each letter, quick little things you can go. I mean, you can go through the course and pick a letter a week or every 2 weeks. You can do it at your own pace. It will be available for those not later in the spring. Our goal is to try to get that out to all of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just become a member and you get it. It's included already in there and you don't have to buy it separate.
Right.
So you go in there and jump in there and go through that great course to do with your kids. Just
Yes.
practice things to write. I encourage you to print the pack or the thing and put them in those sleeves. I don't have one handy, but you guys, homeschool moms, you put them in the little sleeves. You can get them at the dollar store or on Amazon, and then you use your white erase markers or put it in a sheet protector. You can do the same thing from a sheet protector. I like the heavier plastic ones because they have the little colored bindings, and then you just write and erase, and they can just keep practicing. But you can do that, and you can teach. I love it so much. She does such a great job. But Brenda, it took you a while to step into that because your
my
thoughts were,
goodness.
oh, other people know it better than me. I'm not qualified.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not, and they do, but that's okay because he has ignited something inside of me. And Charlie was so great about this. And ladies, I will pass this along to you. She told me, if you're not comfortable on video, then go on to Zoom and just open up your own private little, video and record yourself and just get used to and comfortable with speaking, and then check it out. Are you doing this or that? Maybe you could correct that. Or, maybe you need to modulate your voice. Maybe you need to come up with some better stories. It's okay. You can practice. And if you're in the pit and if you're not being allowed to do this on the outside, then do it on the inside.
Yeah. What are you doing in your pit? I mean, like, what are we doing in our pit? Are we complaining and griping in our pits? Are we just sitting around watching TV? Are we just like wasting time? Or are you practicing in this pit? I just think it's so important. We to pull all this together. I have one other thing that would just hit me on when I was reading this time is I think it was interesting when in Genesis 42:17, and he put all of them together in prison for 3 days.
Isn't that something? 3 days.
And then he says, now Yosef said to them the third day, do this and live, for I fear Elohim. I don't think it would have been normal for an Egyptian ruler to fear Elohim. He would have feared Ra, or he would have feared
the Nile guy or whoever.
The Nile guy or whatever. He would have feared,
the crocodile
the frog
guy,
whatever. He would have feared them. But he said, I fear Elohim. So there's I feel like he's dropping these little things to them along the way. I fear Elohim. He's telling them that he's fearing the one true God, that he fears him. And on the third day, do this and live.
Yes, I have that written down in my notes too, Charlie. We didn't talk about that, but yes.
Yeah.
What about the in 42:8 where Joseph says to them, hey, you guys are spies.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're not spies. Hello, fast backwards, right? Rewind. Joseph is being sent out by his dad to go check on his brothers constantly. And what's their response?
You're
you're spying on us. So, wow. So it's so neat because the Holy One is like hitting all of those little
And you
spots.
wonder if Joseph is like teasing them, like he's throwing little things out to them. Are they going to get it? Well, what if I say this? Are they going to get it? What if
are they going to recognize me now?
Yeah. And the other thing is, and I know we got to go, but the other thing is they weren't going to come back. Like if there had been food, they would have come back for Shimon.
They left him.
And then they were like, well, yeah, your dad's like, yeah, you're not taking Benjamin.
It was
so
an
sorry. And they're like,
loss.
okay, well, all right. But, and then they had to the food ran out. And it was like, what is it in 43 is like, okay, well, the scarcity of food was severe in the land. Did they even intend to go back? I don't think so. And then he says, you have to go back and buy some food.
And we can't go back without Benjamin.
That means they weren't planning to go back. And so I'm cracking up. I was like, they left him and like, what's going on? And
Shimon was an acceptable loss. He was collateral damage.
They were letting him go. They were like, well,
that's too bad.
No, sorry.
Yeah, we can't take Benjamin, that's for sure.
Right? So much family dysfunction. So gosh, think of your family. You got nothing on this family.
Nothing.
I'm just telling you, got nothing on this family.
So just enjoy the next few weeks because seriously, just enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
How about, okay, I put the same thing with you. Judah pledged for Benjamin, how Yeshua pledged for us. 3 days they waited in captivity. then they were allowed to live. And I'm wondering, when the brothers said, why has God done this to us? I wonder if Joseph actually felt that way. Why had God done, when he was thrown into the pit, and then when he was sold into slavery, and then when he was in I forget the guy's name, the house where Potiphar's house, where the wife is trying to,
Shenanigans.
Nefarious
shenanigans.
I wonder if he said, why are you doing this, Father? And I wonder if maybe the Father answered or didn't answer.
We don't know. We don't know that he just thinks he must be dead. Is he dead or alive? Because no, he didn't send anyone after him. He doesn't know that
exactly.
Joseph doesn't know that his dad thinks he's dead.
No, he doesn't even know if his dad's alive.
So he feels abandoned, and we don't even have time, but we can wrap right back around to this, our vain imaginations.
Exactly.
How many things that you thought things were supposed to be a certain way, and when you actually addressed it with a person, it was nothing like what you thought it was. So so Joseph, here he is he's like, is your dad dead or alive? He doesn't even know, because he didn't get a letter from him. No messenger.
He didn't come and get him. He didn't send an army to come.
He knows the stories about going after Lot. He knows about the stories about rescuing and saving him, and then they don't even bother to come after him.
Yeah.
So there's probably a little anger built up. There's some stuff. So I can imagine, I can hear the little tone. There's a little passive aggressiveness happening, probably, and aggressiveness. There's a lot of stuff happening, guys. But I hope that you guys take with, as we close out today, I hope you take with you this, is that we want you to be prepared. Get prepared. Get prepared. Get prepared. Be ready out of season, because get ready for your suddenly. Now, Brenda and I talk about this. I said, my next book is going to be, that's the wrong S word, soon or suddenly. Because I'm like, when he says soon, well, that could be what? And a millennial? Like, how long is soon to? We don't know. But I want the suddenly. I want that S word.
Yeah.
But are you ready for the suddenly? Are you ready for him to call you up and say, okay, are you ready for that person to be like, hey, can you come and do this? And you can be like, can you come and teach these kids? Can you step into this position?
Yeah.
I'm not ready. Be ready. Don't be that girl.
Ready.
You're not that girl.
Because you have it in you, and what you have inside of you is valuable and worthy of being shared in your imperfection.
Yes.
It's worthy to be shared. If you've learned it, it's worthy to be shared. Now, listen, ladies, my little thing is not going to be the S words. It's going to be the P words. I want you to be praising in the pit, praising in the progress, praising in the preparation.
Yeah.
Because this is what's going to change your worldview. Instead of being a victim, you are going to be in preparation for greatness.
Yeah. For
greatness, ladies, for greatness. We're calling it forth. We're calling it forth. We are praying for you. Wherever you are, whatever's going on, you have greatness within you that is to be released to the world, and we need to hear your voices. As Miriam, our lovely Miriam, says, we need to smell your spices.
Yes.
Each one of you has your own fragrance. The fragrance of Messiah released in you is unique and personal, and we want to smell your fragrance.
Amen. Amen. We'll see you guys next week. It'll be next week will just be kind of a quick overview of the Parsha, and then I'm excited. Again, get over there, get on band, get ready for that, get all the links, get ready.
Invite your friends, get on band.
Blessings. Bye-bye.
We love you.
Love you.